Visualization. It's a word we hear all the time, right? But what if the way most of us have been taught to do it is, well, fundamentally backward? We're about to unpack a century-old idea that offers a really powerful, practical, and surprisingly calm way to approach it.
You've probably been there. You sit down, you try to picture a goal, maybe a promotion, a better relationship, a new habit, and you try to really feel it. But a lot of the time, it just feels like you're shouting into an empty room, doesn't it? Nothing seems to connect, and you just end up feeling frustrated.
So here's the thing. The problem isn't that you lack effort or that your imagination isn't strong enough. According to the work of Genevieve Brehend, who is a student of the philosopher Thomas Troward, the usual method of straining and forcing a mental image, it's just missing one foundational piece that changes absolutely everything.
Okay, so in this explainer, we're going to look at the paradox of why trying harder can actually work against you. We'll unpack this idea she called the principle of mental order. We'll explore why getting clear is so much more effective than trying to be intense, and we'll wrap up with a simple practice you can literally start using today. The core idea here is really a shift in how you see this whole process. Visualization isn't supposed to be this passive act of wishing for something. Instead, think of it as an active discipline, a way of bringing your own mind into a state of focus and coherence. It's all about organizing your thoughts first.
Brehend called this having an ordered mentality. And the main goal here isn't to magically make something appear out of thin air. No, the first job is just to get your own thoughts to line up, to reduce that feeling of mental chaos and hurry that almost always pops up when we think about our biggest goals.
And she breaks it down into a pretty simple process. First, you deliberately form the picture in your mind. Then, and this is important, you just examine it calmly, not with force, but with curiosity. This process, just by itself, naturally brings your mind into a state of order, which is the key to that final step, getting rid of those destructive feelings of hurry and fear. You're basically building a stable mental blueprint.
And that leads us to the second big idea, which is where this whole approach really pivots away from what most of us are taught. It's a bit counterintuitive, but it's so powerful. Clarity is way more important than intensity.
Brehend's diagnosis is so simple, but so profound. That feeling of urgency, that need for things to happen right now, she says that's just a form of fear. And fear is a destructive mental state. It just shatters your focus. The ancient Stoics would totally agree with this. They taught that the key to a good life was mastering your internal state, not letting things rush you into fear or panic.
This really lays it out, doesn't it? You've got two paths. The forceful approach of straining and hurrying that actually creates resistance. It's like you're fighting against something. But the approach of clarity, with its ordered thought, its calmness, its steady will, that creates a clear path for your mental energy to just flow.
And this right here illustrates the real magic behind it. This isn't about bending reality to your will. It's about training your mind to get to a state of calm focus. And from that state, you start to see and act on opportunities and advantages that a chaotic, fearful mind would have completely missed.
So, how do we actually make this practical? Well, we can connect Brehend's century-old advice to a really well-researched tool from modern psychology, something called implementation intentions, which are really just simple if-then plans. So, let's say you're at work. Instead of just vaguely hoping for a productive week, you create a specific trigger. If I finish my last meeting on Friday, then I will take 1 minute to picture my weekly goals as calmly completed. See? You're linking a specific cue to a desired mental state, which helps make the whole thing a habit. Or think about a relationship. The plan could be something like, if I start to feel misunderstood in a conversation, then I will briefly picture what a clear and calm resolution feels like. The goal isn't to control the other person, it's just to recenter your own mind and bring some order back to your internal state. And it works for tiny daily habits, too. If I finish my dinner, then I will picture myself waking up feeling refreshed and energized. It's just a simple, calm instruction to your mind, creating a clear expectation without any of that strain or tension we talked about.
Okay, so let's put this into motion right now with a very simple exercise that you can try today.
Now, the crucial point here is to keep it simple. First, just pick one small positive thing for tomorrow, like having a focused morning or even just a pleasant commute. Then close your eyes and form a simple, clear picture of it. After that, just notice the feeling of calm that comes with that picture of completion. And finally, this is key, just let it go. Trust that the details will take care of themselves. You've created the mental order, now you can let the process unfold.
So, to wrap it all up, think of visualization as a discipline. It's about creating mental order, not forcing an outcome.
Remember that calm clarity is so much more powerful than strained intensity. And learn to recognize hurry and fear for the destructive forces they are. And of course, use those simple if-then plans to build this into a consistent practice.
This whole principle of order is really the foundation, but how do you sustain this state and direct it with purpose? Well, that's exactly what we explore in the next part of this series. You'll find it right after this one in the playlist.